Taifa.
A very warm welcome and a good morning to you. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra, and this time it's a little bit different. It is not your usual face that you usually see every morning right here on UBC television. This time around, I control the seat. My name is Lorraine Masika Kazimoto, and tonight or today, Uganda and the rest of the world celebrates International Women's Day, which is celebrated every 8th of March annually. And why do we celebrate this? Well, we celebrate this for very many reasons, and one so is to recognize the women in the world. Today, I am joined by lovely young ladies who will be introducing themselves as we delve into today's topic, of course, International Women's Day, and of course, much, much more. So I'll let them introduce themselves, of course, starting from my exact left.
Good morning, our dear viewers. My name is Aromorach Fancy Sheila, and I'm a young women's rights advocate under the She Leads program, particularly from Gallup Initiative Uganda. Thank you.
A good morning to our viewers. I'm Chisecha Patricia Navidia, a change maker and a youth advocate under She Leads from Yardnet, Uganda, a feminist of human rights, specifically for girls and young women in the world.
All right. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for joining us this lovely morning. And I must say, a happy International Women's Day to you.
Happy International Women's Day to you too.
Thank you so much. Now, let's just get straight into it. Now, today is International Women's Day. Yes. What does this day mean to you?
So, I want to start off with a particular quote that I enjoy a lot by Michelle Obama. She stated one time that the truest measure of the growth of society is how they treat women and girls. And for me, that's a reflection of this day every year. Mm-hmm. That on this day, we get to question how far we have gone on our commitments towards, women's enjoyment and promotion of their rights. We get to celebrate every woman in their capacity, young women, elderly women, women in education, women in science, women everywhere really. We also get to seek accountability again and find out how far, just the way we position our leaders or position ourselves in spaces of responsibility when it comes to promotion of young women's rights is the same way we today get to seek accountability of those responsibilities that we set. So for me, that entirely is International Women's Day for me. How much has society placed in treating us young women and girls? Yes.
I love that. I love that. And you, Patricia?
To me, how I really appreciate Women's Day. One, it's an International Women's Day where we come and appreciate the good that women have done. Not only women, but again, those men who have stood up and really recognize that women we value. And again, I personally, I recognize and I appreciate this day because one, this is the day that women always think of, and again, this is the day we appreciate their work. And also this is the very day we mobilize, we advocate more on what the policymakers should be doing in order to make sure that women are really given that chance, that opportunity to stand up and speak out about their rights, a right to education, a right to a healthy service, a right to political leadership, and again, a right to social momentum whereby every woman can stand up like you, yourself. Mm-hmm. You're a woman and you're presenting us. Mm-hmm. Definitely, we are here to appreciate your work as a woman.
Wow. So these are very young ladies, very enthusiastic and full of energy. It definitely makes my blood boil, listening and seeing young ladies speaking so passionately about, young women and young and old, putting ages aside. I just want us to delve into She Leads. What is She Leads? Where did it even start from? Tell us more about it. What is the, what's behind the name She Leads? Tell us more about it.
All right. So I think it's high time that we all got intentional in whatever we do.
Yes.
Putting aside she leads, but living life and leadership. And I think that for us as young women is where the name came from. We needed a program that is clear and direct in name, in approach, in a structure, and with elements of, sustainable impact for us as young women and girls. So She Leads is a consortium project that has its major implementers and ideation organizations as Truest Homes, Plan International, and Femnet. But then the rest of the organizations that come in are implementing partners, Yardnet, Gallup, and the rest within Uganda. So this is a program that was launched last year, a project that was launched last year, and it will run for 5 years. The program seeks, someone will be asking, what does the program seek? The program seeks to have young women and girls placed at every and any decision-making process within Uganda, that's our Ugandan case, but globally, really, also for the other countries that are implementing the same project. And also in placing that, we intend to have sustainable negative social norm transformation. We are so tired of having this same conversation on, people sticking to social cultural beliefs that are, biases and limits to women and girls. And yet there is so much. The world has changed. We need not only to be moralists, we need to be realists and appreciate that the world is changing. Girls should be placed at decision-making processes. You cannot keep making a decision for a girl's career and yet she has passion for something else because you are assuming you're a moralist. So that is the intention behind the She Leads project as a consortium project, yes.
All right, that's wonderful. So that means it looks like you have a particular age group of people who are in She Leads. Could you tell us more about that and why that age group?
And our age group is 14 years to 24 years, and you may ask yourself why. We've seen that girls and young women in that age, one, they face the same challenges, they face the same problems, and again, if we bring them from day one, we are just grooming them to stand on their right, to speak out, to advocate for their rights. The main purpose of She Leads, it's advocating for girls' rights, whereby we see young people, young girls and women coming on board in positions of political leadership. We want a world where we are seeing girls becoming presidents of Uganda, not only being just presidents, but also becoming MPs, leave alone these female MPs, but the main MPs we are talking of. And again, you may ask yourself why that age. Sincerely speaking, when you look at defilement, sexual abuse, you find that this is the age that these they face such situations. So what if we groom them, we mentor them, they understand, they know if at all someone stands out to if at all someone stands out to against my right, I can stand on my own and again advocate for my own right. That's why we are targeting that age group, because one, it's still young. So when they grow up, they will be at least seen somewhere. We need a world, not only the top leaders having decision making, but again, the young people making their own decisions. When you look at our education, if at all a girl of 13 years, 14 years stands out and tells the parent, you know what, Dad, I feel like taking me to do history wouldn't be bad, but what if I go for biology? Because that's what I feel inside of me. We need such girls to be raised so that they can do what they want in the time they want it and with a guidance on how to do it.
Right, that's wonderful. So I just want to ask, looking at the generation, should I say the generation transition or evolution, I believe because the old girl, when I was probably your age, it was a little bit different.
Oh, yeah.
Things were done differently. So what do you think is there a change? Have you realized a change? Because I know you must have had like some stories of how we used to be raised back in the day and right now.
Yes, the change is there. We really appreciate the changes there. From education setting, we are seeing girls are now acquiring education from 0 level, though it's not that
where you want to be right
but
now.
They have done something good. I really appreciate the government because, one, we are seeing government bringing out a presidential initiative for a girl child. That is good, but now we need it to be pushed, not only at that level. Why do you wait for us to drop out of school and you give us such opportunities? We need girls to acquire the same skills from day one of our education, the same way boys are doing it. Because you find that when you look at the rate of boys going to school and girls going to school, you see that for boys it's 95, and you find that for girls it's 50. What if we bring also girls to 95, we balance everything. This is where we are giving them the same opportunities, same everything. We need an equity world.
Okay,
Yes.
that's nice. So looking at the age group, you said it's between 14 to 25, right?
Yes.
Are there
24.
24?
Yeah.
So are there any exciting activities that you ladies engage the youngsters? Because, you know, sometimes they say that learning can be fun. Or grooming can be fun. What exciting activities have you engaged in with these youngsters? And also, I want to know some of the challenges that you have been facing as she leads in grooming the young, you know, the young girl for tomorrow.
So there are a couple of, personally, I'm still the young girl
Yeah.
that is being groomed under she leads, similar to Patricia.
Yes.
But I want to say the project, ever since its launch or inception last year around this month, March, we have had perpetual engagements, perpetual, you know, feedback, and perpetual test of the commitment that was made. We have been mentored in light with the issues on seeking accountability, lobbying for policies, lobbying for different, or how can we reach our policy makers, advocacy and skills of advocacy, both online and offline. And you find some of these mentorship programs do set us to an awareness stand where we get to see the opportunity. We do not just get to critique a policy that government has made from an uninformed point of view, but we come from a perspective that is informed, a perspective that wants something that is clear and much more sustainable other than simply making noise. I also think the fact that we have always been placed at a preparation level of a program or designing of a program that is going to be implemented in community, in a society. I think that's something we have benefited from as young women under the She Leads Consortium project. Another thing is we have been placed in a space to understand that we can be leaders with our own capacity, with our own resources, and not wait for the time when we are daring to, you know, stand for particular positions in society. So we've been placed to understand that there is an opportunity of leadership in everything, at school level, in your community, at church, you know, in a cultural group, in your community. Like in every particular space you go to, there's an opportunity for you to grab. There's a space for you as a girl, and you need to take up that space. So for this 1 year, I think we have started off as young women on a very amazing note. And some of the challenges, of course, really continue. The biggest challenge is the negative social norms that society has about girls exploring their potential, girls taking up space, and girls leading. We continuously are named as a group that does not have a particular kind of stand to lead, or should not be leading as a member of parliament, a community leader, an LC 512, all those particular positions. And you find how do they name us? They would place particular limitations. You must be married. You must be this and this. You must be of this age bracket. But hey, I'm 24 and I have the ability, I have the papers if that's what you need, probably. I have the capacity, I have the voice, I have the skills. And that's what I'm coming with. Let the votes, you know, make the decision, and not you make the decision for me. So you find also around that we have issues of girls not having enough funds to engage in particular opportunities of leadership, of entrepreneurship and societal growth, or their lifestyle growth. And of course, this has a lot of factors. It could come from a domestic point of view, or family background, or it's simply how, where, and society has placed you according to you being named the kind of person you are. Other and many other limitations or challenges that girls face also comes with the concept of saying, oh, this is emancipation for women, but then we need to stick within the brackets of emancipation. And I want to closely speak to, you know, as Uganda, we have very articulate laws and policies about women's rights and women's involvement or participation. But then this, you know, when you take a perspective that wants to have women a part of decision making, you find it is limiting. She did mention it. If we're to say there is affirmative action, can we, I mean, running for a political space on an affirmative action ticket, can we not limit women to that? Because when you're to find many districts, they would only want to see a woman run on that particular ticket, and they would not give them the opportunity to explore on a general ticket, because there is that particular opportunity. We're saying that is okay, affirmative action has come up, or gender equality is up, but allow us to explore and let the people decide by themselves. So these, for me, are some of the challenges that we shall continue to face. Challenges also that come with issues of non-specification. I do not want to miss that. When we have, when we do not have specific statistics towards persons with disability. You know, we just had a couple of statistics come up from, let me say, United Nations Population Fund that did tell us about the teenage pregnancy rate that we had in 2021, and there were about 35,000 or something of the sort. And you find with this is just a general thing. There is no specification on how many girls or persons with disability were actually sexually violated or got pregnant. And you find with these inconsistencies in doing research or getting information for us to the people, or resources and information will not be channeled directly towards these people. So that kind of not being specific in, you know, addressing issues of women and simply generalizing, oh, we are having many girls, you know, attaining education, joining school, but what is the literacy level? How much are they actually achieving when they get to school? Are they dropping out? We had moralists tell us at the start of this year that girls who are pregnant shouldn't go back to school, or young women. But hey, us as realists, we are simply trying to say, if they do not go back to school for these 9 months, plus probably the 6 months of, you know, after birth, they're going to drop out, or they're still going to be placed in, you know, positions where they're going to be more sexually harassed or face other kinds of, you know, harassments. So those kind of not being specific towards addressing issues of girls and simply not appreciating, you know, other perspectives, I think continuously limits us or creates so much bias for us as young women to explore our potential to be a part of decision making for a longer time. Yes.
All right. Patricia, you would like to add on that?
Most, especially when it comes to antenatal. When you look at our health sector, you'll find that women not only, okay, let's leave women, girls who get pregnant at a tender age are not given their awards. They are just taken or given a space whereby that space isn't favorable for them. What comes next? You are seeing girls who are losing lives at the antenatal care service providers, at maternal labs, because one, that negative norms that we are still having and our healthy sectors are still partaking, that a girl, when you get pregnant at a tender age, again, it's your mistake, and the end of it, they don't give you service because you've done a mistake. So such challenges are still triggering girls and young women, not to stand out. Because one, if at all I come for a service and you tell me, who told you to go for sex? Definitely, I know I did something that was wrong, but give me a service. After giving me a service, guide me on how to go about it. Don't just blame me because of what I've done. Just give me guidance on how to go about it, than you putting all the blame to me. As my colleague has said, when you come to political leadership, you find that women are taken to be something small in our communities, too tiny to make sure that a woman has to be, a woman, you can't stand up on your own and be a leader as an MP, but again you have to come in as a woman MP. How sure are you? We are seeing ladies coming out on board and being family leaders from day one. And we are seeing men losing their responsibilities as men in the family and not heading a family, but we're seeing ladies heading a family. So what if you give us that platform and you test us? You test us and see whether we can do it or not. And again, on political leadership, you find that the money that is charged is really high for someone to take a position. They're looking at a man who has been working with government, who has money to come out and take that position. Because you can't tell me an MP, you have to be with 5 million to stand out. What if I have the money, but again, I don't have the brains to lead? So we need to give women and girls that platform. Don't just give us a platform and all in all they've given you a platform. Give us a platform that is gender equity, that if at all you see I'm down, please lift me to that position you want me to be. And another thing is, again, I'll go back to our government. I really appreciate the guideline that they've given out to schools when it comes to teenage girls that are pregnant, young mothers. But again, it's lacking somewhere. You find that, yes, the guideline is specific and it entails everything, how to handle that girl, how to do what, how to give that girl support. But again, community is not partaking it. What if our heads, what if the government strategize more on implementing it from day one, whereby they include a girl, they include a parent, the community member, then the school administration, so that we all understand that, fine, this girl has got pregnant at a tender age, but again, she has a way to go ahead. She has another life to lead. Can we give her an opportunity to go back and sit for her exams without discrimination? The point comes when someone is discriminated, because we are seeing in our communities, girls are losing life because of that. And this is how She Leads has come on board and has made sure that even in schools, we are having talks around girls being themselves, girls taking leadership, girls making decision making. And it has really helped us, because now we are seeing cases coming from schools and these girls are coming out saying, you know, it's a teacher who did this and this to me. That is really good, because we've opened up our minds. Now we are seeing girls opening up their minds on a specific point of, I have a right to education, I have a right to my body. It's not a matter of points in school, but again, it's my decision. I decide to take what my teacher said. Again, I decide not to take it. I decide not to take what my parent has said, or to take it. Why? Because back then, when you look at Mbale, statistics say it loudly. When you look at Mbale, girls are getting pregnant at the age of 13 years. And why do they do that? Because culture has groomed us that if a girl goes in her menstruation, that girl is really ready for marriage. And the end result, we are seeing girls dying, losing life at a tender age. We are seeing girls facing sexual abuse in homes, because these men that they take, I've already made my money, now I have you, you have to follow my rules. But now what if we change that? Because good enough, I appreciate the partners in Mbale. I appreciate the government, but I also appreciate the DCOs in Mbale districts, because they have done something good. Because now we are seeing the rate of teenage pregnancy and child marriage reducing, but not because we have been advocating as she leads, but partners, cultural leaders, government, and DCOs have come on board to understand that this is really a challenge and we need to work out on it.
All right, so where there is bad, there is also good.
Yes.
What are some of the achievements that you, as She Leads, have achieved, at least in this 1 year of your existence? Let's look at the good things now.
One, I will start with the decision making. As me personally, I'm evidence and a beneficiary of She Leads of 1 year, because when you look at, I'll give you an overview of my community. I stay in a slum area, that is Motungu, downtown. You find that girls at my age are getting pregnant. Girls at my age left school. Girls at my age have joined drug addiction. But why? Because they don't have information. But here I am, as my colleague said, in the different dialogues, in the different meetings we've been having with stakeholders, here I got an opportunity of being among the task forces of COVID task forces. It wasn't me. It was the platform of She Leads that they groomed me. They gave me a platform to speak out on my own, to understand the challenges that we're facing in our communities. And now I'm a coordinator of COVID-19 task force of my parish. That only really gives me a smile whenever I wake up in the morning and I look at the Patricia of the last 2 years and the Patricia of now. We are totally different. Here we are seeing girls going back to school. Because in She Leads, when you look at my groups, because in She Leads we have different groups. When you look at Nakawa, we are personally, as their leader, I'm seeing a change. I'm seeing girls calling me, Patricia, you know what, we need to do, we've seen money, there is money in our government for girls and boys. Can we do a project? Can we sit down and construct a constitution and we make up a group so that we get that money? It's really an amazing idea, because it's not our idea, but they have groomed us that we can rob for all funds from the government, because again they are our money. Yes.
All right. Well, so looking at this year's theme of International Women's Day, that is gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. What does this mean to you as young lady advocates?
So gender equality today for sustainable tomorrow encompasses a lot of things other than what is under it, in line with climate activism for a sustainable livelihood tomorrow. So for me, that speaks, I want to start from the climate point of view. When we know women, young women and women in general do make up the larger percentage of food production in Uganda. Let's take Uganda's case. And so if these women, first of all, do not have land to, passionately carry out agriculture or food production, then there is a question for us there to answer as fellow young women, as stakeholders, as government, or as any particular non-state actor. Women also, when we do not have proper climate, well-being, we find SRHR for the women will be affected.
Yes.
If, for example, there's flooding every after 2 years or every after, a few weeks in this particular area, and these women are faced with, they are blessed with menstruation as a natural occurrence, how are these women supposed to keep their menstrual hygiene? How are they supposed to access centers if they need maternal health care, and yet we have flooding in that area because we're not keeping our climate commitments as a community. So you find if we do not work right now towards a climate upright upright society, we are going to be, fighting backwards for women, for gender equality. And so, but then also more to that theme from my perspective is issues on education, issues on health, issues on entrepreneurship, issues on policy and implementation of policy and laws, whereby you find we need to question, are we actually having quality and equal education for girls and boys, or young women and men? That's something for us to question, because gender equality does entail a couple of things, and we still need to find out, are we saying, oh yeah, there's now a bigger percentage, as I had earlier noted, there's a bigger percentage of girls joining the university or enrolling or having excelled in PLE. How many of those get to actually finish their basic education to senior 6, and they actually join particular professions, or they actually get to achieve what they intend? Don't they face issues of long distance to school, issues of not having scholastic materials, issues of not having sanitary wear? That promise has continuously been made, and I think for me it has reached this level. I am so tired of listening to that promise of saying we'll have girls have sanitary wear in school. Let government have a better strategy and say, let's have a try. Let's start with primary schools. Let's have each primary school, that we get to run, serve free sanitary pads for these girls. That speaks towards quality education.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, quality and equal education for the girls. When we speak of health, are we saying, oh yes, there are so many health centers, and that is amazing? Ever since, I think, your time to our time now, we have a number of health centers that we just simply go to. But do we have enough medication there? Are our health workers gender aware? Issues that she spoke about, pinning us or pinning young women when they go for particular services, and you're being stereotyped and toned down because you engage in something that is considered not right for you within that age. So do we have that? That will also speak towards healthcare. Do we have are we positive towards sexuality education for girls and young women, plus boys in school? Because this is a conversation we need to have. Yes, it was enrolled, but how far have we achieved from the time the ministry, the line ministry in charge, brought it before us as a community? When we come to speaking issues on entrepreneurship, are young women able to register their businesses? Do they have ideas of registering, their intellectual property? Do they have ideas of knowing how they can sustainably or contribute to the growth of a society, the growth of a country with their tiny small businesses everywhere? If that information is not there, if we are simply if we simply get shocked as young women that I think it's now time I need to start a business because I'm broke, or it simply comes from a perspective that there is this opportunity, or the parish model has come in, I need to take up, make use of that opportunity that the government has brought, then we should be smiling. But if we just simply find young women engaging in entrepreneurship or business as a shock measure for them, from a recovery from a situation, then that's something we do not have to continuously smile about. So it's still, we get to not only simply have this conversation on this day, but have it as something that we can seek accountability on of next year, 2023, same day, and we're like, we achieved so much from the theme of this year, then we shall be well as young women.
All right. So, Patricia, do you think that government has, put up efforts in, women empowerment in Uganda? And if so, what do you think is not working? What could be some of your recommendations?
Well, thank you. Again, I would really appreciate the government. It has tried. The government has done something, but now there is a linkage. We are lacking somewhere. So personally, as she said, I remember it was 2015, I was, I think, even in high school, Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, launched free menstruation pads to every girl in school. It's the same thing that His Excellency the president of Uganda, came in 2017 with the same idea of making menstruation free to every girl, giving out menstrual products in schools to every girl on a free place.
All right. So, Patricia, I'm just going to cut you short right there.
Yes.
We are going to go for a very short break, and when we return, Patricia will be giving us some more insight on what she feels government should do, her recommendations on this. It is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Double MBs for the same price on daily bundles with Airtel. Now you get double MBs for twice your enjoyment. For 250 shillings, you now get double. That's 30 MBs. For only 500 shillings, you get 80 MBs. And for 1,000 Uganda shillings, enjoy 180 MBs. All valid for 24 hours. Dial *175# or use the My Airtel app to enjoy double MBs on your daily bundles for the exact same price. With Airtel, the smartphone network.
National Medical Stores is a government agency mandated to buy, store and distribute medicines and medical supplies to government health facilities in Uganda. For Ugandans that we serve, help us serve you better by taking your individual responsibilities seriously. Report theft of government medicines and medical supplies to the nearest police station or to the State House Health Monitoring Unit. Do not pay for any medicines or medical supplies labeled Government of Uganda, not for sale. Do all that is within your means to stop all preventable diseases, including COVID-19. Continue observing the Ministry of Health Standard Operating Procedures, SOPs, including wearing a face mask whenever you are in public spaces. Visit a designated health facility to receive your COVID-19 vaccination and a booster dose for those that are eligible. Prevention is better than cure. National Medical Stores, passionate about your life.
It's time to learn. Schools are open. As a student, school life is going to be different. You must follow the COVID-19 prevention measures, which include always maintaining a 2-meter distance from others in class, dormitories, entertainment halls, school vans and playgrounds, regularly washing your hands with soap and water, wearing a washed and clean mask that covers your mouth and nose every day, and encouraging your classmates to do the same. Your teachers will also guide you on how to follow SOPs. Don't engage in violence with other students. Report any cases of abuse by teachers or other children to a senior teacher. Those who don't follow the rules should be immediately reported to a class teacher for correction and further guidance. If you experience flu-like symptoms such as a sore throat, fever, dry cough or body weakness, immediately seek medical attention from the school nurse and inform your class teacher. Whenever you sneeze or cough, please remember to cover your nose and mouth with a bent elbow, tissue or handkerchief. Let's share knowledge, not COVID-19. This message is supported by the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education and Sports, and UNICEF. Stay safe.
COVID-19 is still here with us. As Owechitiwa Peter Maiga, the Prime Minister of Buganda, states, let us all take the necessary precautions.
Self-medication is always very dangerous. We should leave medical matters to the medical personnel. It's only a healthy population that can produce wealth. And if you want to work for your well-being, you must care about your health first.
Because of the new COVID-19 circulating variants like Omicron, it is very important for all of us to be fully vaccinated with 2 doses of the same vaccine type. It's only those getting Johnson & Johnson who receive only a single dose to be fully protected.
Even after vaccination, continue to adhere to all SOPs by wearing a mask properly, covering your mouth and nose, washing your hands regularly with soap and clean water or using an alcohol-based sanitizer, maintaining physical distance of at least 2 meters from others and avoiding crowds. Echa COVID-19, chija kugwa. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and partners.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from the break, and we're glad that you're still watching Good Morning Uganda Extra with me, Lorraine Masika Kazimoto. Of course, I do want to say a very big thank you to Jagenda Semakula for giving me his seat today. And of course, as we're celebrating International Women's Day today, I do have a group of lovely, energetic and passionate women, ladies, I will say, ladies, who are very passionate about, of course, the girl child and seeing them grow in Uganda. And we were still talking to Patricia, and she was still telling us about her recommendations, what she feels government should do in order to, you know, advocate more for women empowerment in Uganda. Patricia.
Thank you so much. Again, one, as I said, when you look at our menstrual hygiene, and again it's called WASH, you find that our Honorable, His Excellence, our President of Uganda, in 2017, he said he's going to make menstruation materials free and affordable and accessible to all girls. Oh, I wish if at all menstruation materials is free and accessible in schools, we shall limit the cases of school dropout, that is one, a poor performance of girls in schools, and again, teenage pregnancies and sexual abuses. Because most of the times when you look at, if at all you engage yourself and see and share stories with different girls in community, you'll find that a girl got pregnant, one, she lacked menstrual material. The only way to get it was to go for sex with another boy in order to buy a pack of pad. What if the government puts it in, implements it in our schools, where we find that menstrual materials are free and accessible to all girls? We are limiting teenage pregnancies and also child marriages. And again, we are ending gender-based violence. As our theme for today says, gender equality for a sustainable tomorrow. I wish the government also looks in our healthy sectors and implements. You see, we appreciate the work of our health workers. They really do a lot of work. But how I wish they retrain them again on how to handle young people in different situations, in different situations. Because you find that you find a girl who has come to get, let me say, a family planning method. I'm active and I need a family planning method. I go to a facility. Again, they ask me consent. Where is your mother? Who told you to come for family planning method? That only limits me to, one, to my healthy, two, again, to my right as a human being. I'm 14, I'm 15, but I know the only way to survive in my community is protecting myself not to get, one, STIs, two, pregnancy. What if they give us, okay, let them train us. And my last, not least, not even my last, another point is, can the government, yes, the government has done good. The government has really done good, but can it make sure it's called sexuality education framework, is implemented in schools? Because if at all it's implemented in schools, this is when a girl and a boy understands, oh, when I do this, this is the result. And when I say no, my no is valuable and appreciated. But again, I really appreciate our government. It has done its work.
All right. So we're of course joined by Patricia Jemba. She's going to introduce herself. She said she had something also to add on to what you were saying as well. Yes. Patricia, you're welcome.
Okay. Good morning to everyone. How are you? I'm Patricia Jemba from Mwankulukuku. I'm 19 years of age. I'm going to add on my namesake, one, on the government. I think the government should do, okay, let me speak like this. Batekewe misomo gy'abalenzi. Egimu gyegiri naye abantu abasinga tebagimanyi. Like, I have a friend of mine. Yali ajoga abana abawala nga tabatwala kintu ky'amakulu. Ne gundi yajja ku LC y'abavubuka. Oyajja nagana na joining just okufuna sente. It was like 3 weeks okusomeyo gundi yaabwe naye we yagenda yakomawo nga li different nga omwana omuwala nga buli we yali atuyisa not the way nawe kati we yeeyisa yali ajjanga nakuba nakukola ki yajjanga hey please go this way yamanya value y'omuwala kati I think egyo emisomo bagiteekewo nga si bino buli omu ayagala naye bagiteeke strict nti omuntu alina okukola ki ogisoma. Ekyokubiri yakimentioninzeeko I think ng'abaana ebazadde mu COVID because most of my friends abawala baafuna embuto abalala gye bali eyo tebasoma naye abaafuna embuto babonaabona kati nga babonaabona ate nga Museveni yatugamba nti agenda kuzzaayo abaana ku masomero ab'embuto baddeyo abo abaana nsaba bazimbe ekkolero ly'abaana basobola obakulizaawe abaana baddeyo basome batasobola kugenda na mwana ku ssomero ate n'obeera ng'osobola okubeera naye mu class aba akusumbuwa naye ate wemumuleka eri gwe nodda ku masomero I think it would be better.
All right, that is Patricia Jemba, a 19-year-old advocate right there. And also she leads a tailoring group of girls in Wankulukuku. Now, our time is fast spent. And of course, just to remind you that UBC will also be broadcasting live in Kololo for the celebrations of the International Women's Day. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming through today. And definitely, I have also picked a thing or two, actually a lot from what they've had to say today. I'm Loreen Masika Kazimoto. Do you have yourself a lovely, lovely day. And for the ladies, a happy International Women's Day. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
It's time to learn. Schools are open. As a student, school life is going to be different. You must follow the COVID-19 prevention measures, which include always maintaining a 2-meter distance from others in class, dormitories, entertainment halls, school vans and playgrounds, regularly washing your hands with soap and water, wearing a washed and clean mask that covers your mouth and nose every day, and encouraging your classmates to do the same. Your teachers will also guide you on how to follow SOP.